question here. What are some of the goals of the workforce initiative that you mentioned?
Well, there are, long and short-term goals. So our long-term goal would be to show that we have, raised the awareness and the image of these types of manufacturing jobs, and that we've done a decent, good job of getting the information out about how people can be trained. You hear a lot of people talking about a lot of jobs lost because of trade agreements or trade, and that's not exactly true. There's a lot of jobs lost. Most of them are lost because of advanced manufacturing, and people don't know how to operate the advanced, like the robotics and things like that, and they've got to go get special training. And so, I think the biggest goal of mine would be to see more people to be closing the skilled workforce gap, and not just training people, but having them placed in jobs. But that's like solving, that's world peace, or something like that. So that's a big one. Short term, I'd like to see NASCO going into areas, assembling the key stakeholders that are the government, the local governments, the educational institutions that provide the training, and the industry, and getting those three sectors to talk to one another about their specific needs and requirements, because we hear so often that the training that's being provided is not meeting the needs of the industry. And so industry feels responsible for training their own people in-house, and it's costing them a lot of money. And they would give anything to have training programs that are specific to their needs and requirements. And there are examples around the country of areas that have done a very good job of getting industry to tell what they need and require, and then providing that specific training solution for those industry. So I would like to see more of that. We're working in Mexico. I mentioned Conocer, and we've heard a lot of Mexican industry people talk about, while Conocer is trying very hard and doing a good job, that a lot of the training that is coming out of there and the standards coming out of there may not meet specifically the needs and requirement of industry, and Conocer is aware of that. And so they're working on kind of revamping how they do things, and they've actually given us, NASCO, and our partnership with the Bush Institute here in Dallas. I should mention the George Bush Center and Presidential Library. They have a North American working group that I sit on, and we've become very close partners because some of the areas that their North American working group are looking at covering match directly with us, and one of them is the human capital, the workforce component. So we are working on coordinating this North American declaration that I mentioned, and getting signatories to that about the importance of a North American workforce, and thinking long-term about training our entry and mid-level positions very similarly. But also Conocer is offering a very groundbreaking opportunity that we're hammering out the details now, and the devil, of course, is always in the details, but to have an actual subcommittee of Conocer be comprised of our NASCO North American contacts that are interested in participating industry contacts, and some training institutions that are from Canada, US, and Mexico, to be, for the first time ever, a North American subcommittee of Conocer to introduce standards that could then be trained and provided in training institutions in Mexico, and even at the high school level. So one of our short-term goals is to go down. We're picking Monterrey because we have a good set of connections there, and Francisco Martinez, who is our part-time Mexican person for NASCO, lives there, so he's on the ground there. But getting some stakeholder meetings engaged, talking about their needs and requirements, introducing the MSSC standards to the Monterrey training institutions, getting them approved by Conocer through our North American committee, and then hopefully getting them trained in Mexico at either the high school or the community college level. And seeing, I would love that. I mean, so that a short-term goal, meaning in the next maybe 6 to 8 months, I'd like to see some people coming out of those training programs getting jobs in Mexico. And I think that would be a huge success. And then in Canada, same thing. They have a lot of training program. It's done very provincially there, training programs. It's done very provincially there. But to get the stakeholder meetings going in Canada and get some good feedback about their needs and challenges and what's working and not working, and being able to figure out where NASCO goes from there.